One love, job bless. Fire Nelson here, and today I'm going to talk to you about how words have power. So, of course, we may have heard, maybe not have heard that words hold power. And lots of times we kind of just hear this and it goes in one ear and out the other, and we're like, oh, okay, we know, whatever. But when we dig deeper into this concept that words hold power, you really find so much truth in this. I mean, countries and, whole civilizations were conquered because of just words, because of just mindsets. Places were built because of words. People love themselves or completely hate themselves because of words. You can make someone furious just by the way you talk, just by the tone of your voice. You can say something in one tone and someone take it completely normal and say the exact same thing in a different tone, and they take it completely the wrong way. So when people say words have power, you have to realize this is an actual thing. This is something that people look over, but they don't take enough time to really build that patience and that discipline to control their words and to really appreciate what this is saying by saying words have power. We have to realize that our words hold energy, and we have to be careful with what we're putting out, because just like karma, you're going to get that same energy back. And sometimes it's right away, sometimes it's not at all. But 9 times out of 10, that energy comes back to you. It's just the law of averages. If you come into a situation with negative words and you're cursing and you're saying all this negative stuff, 9 times out of 10, regardless of how great that person is, they are going to come at you in a similar fashion. It probably will be to some degrees less, especially if it's in, I don't know, if you're complaining to a worker or something and you're a complaining customer, of course it'll be degrees less because they have to be professional. But 9 times out of 10, if you're going in a situation negative, especially if it's not in a professional setting, you're going to get that same energy back. I mean, that's because words have power. You are putting your negative energy onto this person who may or may not have done anything maliciously or may have done anything that needed your judgment. We have to realize there's never a situation that has a cause for us to raise our levels of anger to a heightened state. We want to stay very vigilant at being aware of where our emotions are going. If we feel anger, it doesn't have to be loud. We can feel anger or feel hurt or feel, unheard or whatever negative emotions that might pop up without completely switching our serenity, our inner peace. We can realize and take a, pen. They're like, okay, that's something I need to meditate on later. But we don't let it overwhelm our whole emotions. We shouldn't do this because words have power. And once you start mixing emotions with your words, then it's a whole nother story. You want to keep words as emotion free, unless it's a positive emotion. But you want to keep words, as emotion free as possible. Unless it's positive emotions, we don't want to put negative emotions on top of using negative words, using hateful words, using words of judgment, and using words of, it's not my fault, it's your fault, and going back and forth and back and forth. Now you're not only saying negative words, which are powerful alone, say like, and I want to stop there because negative words are powerful alone, because even if you're joking and you're in your heart joking and you say, you're ugly, if you say that every day to the same person, they're going to think they're ugly after a while. So regardless if you were joking and you were saying in the positive ways that you thought they were laughing with you and all this. Negative words, no matter what positivity you think you're putting behind them, are hurtful or low. So when you mix negative emotion with negative words, then that is destructive. That is something that is pure, wickedness. And it's something that we do all the time. It's something that we as a society have normalized to the point where people flip out and we just call it normal, People are yelling at the top of their lungs at each other on TV, and we just think this is the way that we're supposed to be communicating, when that is actually super, severely toxic way to communicate. And we shouldn't ever even get to that extreme with someone that we are in a committed relationship with or friendship with or anybody on this earth, because we're all brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, we shouldn't ever be raising our voices like this at any other person. We should always be trying to keep a stable mindset, stable emotions, stable tone of voice, especially. Your tone matters so much with words. It's almost insane. You can say completely one whole sentence one way and say that exact same sentence another way, and people will be completely offended. It's all about your tones. It's all about the emotions you put behind your words. And you have to realize you have to get more in control of this. Faster, the better. The faster you get control of your words, the better, because it takes a process. It's a learning process. It takes discipline, and it takes, controlling your mouth, controlling your mind, and really being able to breathe in any situation. Focus on the breath. Focus on 4 breaths in or 8 breaths in, which is you breathing in for 8 seconds, holding your breath for 8 seconds, breathing out for 8 seconds. Breathing in for 8 seconds and continuing. So we need to do this when we get in these stressful situations where we feel our emotions being triggered, and we don't need to fall into the trap of getting swept into the outside world, because we have to remember we are inner spiritual beings just having a human experience. And 9 times out of 10, when we're dealing with stressful situations, it's with somebody that's not at your level of awareness. So we have to remember that and realize where they're coming from and be patient with them. We have to realize, okay, this is the place where they're thinking from. Understand it, but also understand that you have another way of thinking. Not a different level of thinking, like you're thinking in a higher way, but you may be thinking in a wider way. Not above, not lower, but just wider. So we have to think in that way, a wider way. Not a higher way. We're not trying to be the one that's right. We're not trying to be the one that's, making sure they're known that we're smarter or anything like this. But we just want to give a wider picture. Give all the options to the situations. We don't want to leave situations in a stressful manner and not at least lay out all the options of the definitions of your words. We don't have to fall into situations and use our words in negative ways. We need to use them in these positive ways. We want to communicate as much as we can in situations where we might feel that we're misunderstood or that someone else is being misunderstood. We have the power to change people's minds and change people's beliefs and change people's spirit so that they're able to come into the light of the Most High and able to see the true divinity within themselves. But we won't be able to do that if one day we're speaking holiness and wisdom and the next day we're cursing and walking around and gossiping and just being profane and all types of things, and being angry and holding wrath and grudges and things like this and judgment. So we have to realize that, yeah, people can see these emotions on us, but they really feel these emotions when we put them in words. We can, of course, feel these emotions. These emotions are going to come up sometimes, but we have to just let them go. They're not us. They're just something we need to meditate on later and figure out, why did I feel triggered by these things? You know, something we need to pray on later and ask the Most High, why did I feel triggered about these things? We don't need to sit and involve ourselves in anything else that isn't positive. We need to start using our words for only positivity, only to uplift others and uplift ourselves. When we look into the mirrors, we don't need to even talk down to ourselves. Uplift ourselves. Tell us that we are beautiful. Tell us that we are wealthy. Tell us that we are blessed. And do the same for others. You know, increase that karmic good that's coming back to you. If you say something nice to somebody, you don't know the last time they might have said that. I highly advise everybody to say, I'm proud of you, to as many people as you can, you know? Especially family members and stuff like this. It doesn't matter how old they are, how young they are. Tell people you're proud of them, because lots of times people don't hear this, and really people are only doing the best that they can with the knowledge that they have 9 times out of 10. So things like this, saying positive stuff like this matters. And it not only affects those people, but it affects those people's family. It affects the people that they come in contact with that day. It's a karmic, string of goodness that just is coming back to you in tenfold, because you said one good thing to somebody and now they're saying good things to 10, 20 people, and those 20 people say good things to 50 more people, because that's just how it goes. It's you do a good deed for one person and it brightens up their day, and especially if you give them some wisdom with that good deed, it helps them think differently about life, because everybody wants to wake up. Everybody wants to feel those good words hit them with the emotion behind it, with the true belief behind it. Nobody wants to hear negative words. Nobody wants to hear words that are going to bring them down into the deeper pits that this world can take us in. It's okay to feel depressed sometimes. It's okay to feel anxiety. It's okay to feel, anger, fear, doubt, limit. But we have to let these things go. And our words are going to help us do that. We need to pay attention to what we speak. It's the only way to truly free your mind from the negative talk that the ego constantly goes to when you first think of something that seems impossible, or something that seems crazy, or even something that seems normal. Sometimes the ego just gets in the way of normal things. You don't even want to get up to get the remote sometimes, or get up to read a book, get up to cut a fruit up, because you got to cut it. So the ego's like, I'm not trying to cut anything right now. Just get something I can grab. This is what the ego does. It tries to push you away from negative things. We have to realize we need to get out of that ego. This is what's pushing these negative words to us and to others, and making us feel like we need to use negative words to others, or making us feel like we need to defend ourselves with negative words, to prove ourselves to others, or this and that. So once we realize that we are not the ego, we are not this negative talk that comes up, we are the positive talk, You know, we are the talk that sounds like it's crazy, but it just might work. You know, that's that talk, the positive talk that you are going to be able to do this. It might not be in the time that you exactly stated, but it's going to get done with faith and with trust. So we have to realize that our words are powerful. They hold so much truth. And I'm still learning about words because I've realized even in the English language, words are very strange. Words are very misconstrued. And I think they do this for a reason, to keep us maybe oppressed. They know that there's power in words. I have to do some more research, like I said, but I feel like in a lot of other countries, in a lot of other languages and things like this, they don't have so many words that sound the same but have different definitions. And I feel like that's something very peculiar. It's something that's makes me think, what is the reason for that? It's not like they ran out of words, you know? And lots of times the meanings of these words, when they're cut up, don't mean exactly what they mean, you know, as the whole. So what type of words am I talking about? I'm talking about words like whole and holy, you know? Or I'm talking about words like peace. I'm talking about words like peace. Hey! I'm talking about words like peace. Sorry. Like peace or peace. You know, like piece of pizza or world peace. I'm talking about words like, I don't know, there's a bunch in there, you know? But there's so many double words like this. And you think like, why is it like this? Or harmony, which is the base word is harm. I'm trying to think of more. Blessing, you know, which has less in it. Be less. It just makes you think, why would they have such holy words, you know, be so close to something that isn't? Blessing, you know, or just put a B on it and it's called blessing. Whole. Oh, you know what? Instead of telling them to say whole, say holy, and we'll make it we'll tell them it's a word of the Most High. Oh, peace? Yeah, we'll get them all saying that, so they only get a piece, not the real whole. You know, that's just something that I've been really thinking about. It's just, I know it sounds a little crazy to some people, but it really is something that makes you think and makes you want to deep dive. And I advise you to, when you have these intuitions, that you go ahead and dive into these things, because we want to know where our words are coming from, you know? Lots of times people say that we should be speaking Hebrew and things like this, you know, a more ancient tongue, because the American language and a lot of, you know, even German languages and other European languages and stuff like this have been so tampered with by the occult and, you know, just evil people and things like this, you know, conquerors, and people had no regard for human life. You know, we have to realize that our words, a lot of our words are tampered with, and some of those words used to be something different, and they changed it, you know? So who knows what else they changed? The J wasn't even a thing until like the 1800s. Nobody even said J's. Jesus wasn't an actual name. No one said Jesus. You know, his name was Yahshua. So we have to realize they changed a lot of stuff, and we never know what power really holds, you know, in these words, because we were never taught this. You know, this is an ancient teachings. This is something that you have to go and learn for yourself, you know. Like I said, I'm still learning. So this is something that's not taught to us. But trust me, there's people who made these words and are still making words who know this stuff. So we have to know the power so we can use that same power to help uplift the people, help brighten people's day, and help share good karma. We don't need to continue using negative words and pushing around negative karma to people. We have to remember that our words hold power and be aware of what we're speaking. Stop with the cursing, stop with the gossiping, stop with the judgment. I'm telling you, let it go. You know, I know you want to say it in the moment, but trust me, if you let it go, you'll forget in 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Come. So you have to realize that there's more to life than being right. There's more to life than using your words in a negative way. If it's not for positivity, don't even use your words. Don't waste your time. So if you haven't, please subscribe, like, comment, share. I appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. Use your words for power, not for negativity. And that's your inner words too. Control your thoughts. It's possible. It takes one step at a time. It takes you building that discipline. It takes you building that practice, and you'll get there. You know, do your meditations, read your spiritual books. If things come up in you, make a pen of it. Okay, that came up. Let's meditate on it later. But don't use your words for negativity, and don't let people suck you into using your words for negativity. Control your emotions when you use your words, and control your tones. And trust me, you're going to have a peaceful life when you do this. Not a peaceful life, not a holy life, but a whole peaceful life. Serene life, full of bliss, full of blessings, because you're using your words wisely. Yeah. God bless. One love.